Hey, how's everyone doing? Uh, Glad to hear and see any comments that may come of this video. Not going to take much time. So I just want to encourage you today about walking in the Spirit. Okay? So walking in the Spirit, first of all, if you're going to walk in the Spirit, it first starts with you believing that you are Spirit. Okay? This is my hand. But if I put my hand inside of a glove and I go and open a door with that same hand, it's still my hand, because whatever the glove does happens to the glove also happens to my hand. See how that works? So in 1 Corinthians verse 6 and 17, it says this: but he who is joined to the Lord becomes one spirit with him. Now, what does that mean, joined? Because that joined is past tense. Okay, joined to the Lord. The word join means to be cemented with. Okay, if you know anything about cement, or if you don't, if you were to take just a sidewalk or a road that you drive on, what you don't know, especially on sidewalks, is that the way they do this is, once they have an area, how we keep it so square, they actually build what's called forms by building same thing as if they're building a frame of a house. They're going to build a frame of the house, but it's a frame of the shape that they want that concrete to stay within. And then they pour the concrete and it stays within that. But the other thing is that what they'll do is we'll run rebar. Okay. Also, if you don't know what rebar is, just look it up. There's a lot of uses for it. It is used whenever you're pouring concrete. You run rebar, strengthen it. So once you run rebar and everything, you pour all the concrete on top of it. Now, what I just told you, you don't see that when you're walking on the sidewalk. All you see is sidewalk. You don't see all of the other components that go into that. Okay? Well, this is the way it is within the Spirit. You're one. Okay, and just like the sidewalk is covered, Jesus has covered you. Okay, and you only see Jesus. In Romans 8, verse 9, okay, it says this: you, however, are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if in fact the Spirit of God dwells in you. Now, that's not an if to question whether or not the Spirit of God is dwelling in you. That's an if to confirm to you that the Spirit of God dwells in you. Okay? So, last part, 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. Okay? Says this: his divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness, through the knowledge of him. That word knowledge is experiential knowledge. Knowledge gained by firsthand experience. Okay? Who called us to his own glory and excellence, by which he has granted to us his precious and very great promises. Those promises are pre-promises. In other words, everything needed to fulfill those promises already been accomplished, so that through them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped from the corruption that is in the world because of sinful desire. Partakers of divine nature. How do you become a partaker of divine nature? You have to share in that nature. In other words, you have to align and agree with what God has said about you, with what God has accomplished for you and about you. Let me encourage you. Jesus accomplished and finished a great work. And your challenge every day is for you to look into that and to see what it is that has been accomplished for you. Okay? And as you see what it is that has been accomplished for you, you take that up with boldness and you walk that out as you are that. Scripture says to reckon that we have been crucified with Christ. Well, reckon and count that you have also been raised with Christ. You have been seated with Christ, and you rule and reign with Christ. As Jesus is, so are we in this world. Listen, that's all I have time for today. Have a great day, and remember, you are loved.